Well, folks, the stock market is at it again. It is in full distraction mode right now. It's almost like a picture of a magician, right? They get you to pay attention to something over here. Meanwhile, they're doing like a trick over here, right? And you're not even like aware of what's going on. The stock market is doing that exactly right now, and it is doing it to perfection. And I want to show you exactly what's going on here so you guys are aware of this. And the stock market gets into these time periods where it goes into distraction mode and everybody's looking over here. Meanwhile, the real story is like over here, but no one's paying attention to that because they're so like caught off guard, right? And this happens all the time. This happens in politics. This happens in media. Like it happens all over the place, okay? And in this video also, I want to share with you an exact like watch list that you can add that these certain companies you have to pay attention to when they report earnings, regardless if you own them or not, because they will let you know if we're likely going into a recession or not, okay? And so I'm going to share that with you guys. I think that's going to be really helpful. Hope you enjoy this video as always and me bringing this to your guys' attention. And yeah, thank you for joining me. So big tech watch list is a mess here today. I mean, just everything is, Red Dead Redemption. Other than Tesla, my ass is trying to get a little green here today. But other than that, it's just, it's bloody red out there. And Snowflake down 8%, Meta's down over 7%, Shopify's down over 7%, Google McDougal 5%, Nvidia 4%. A lot of big downward moves out there today, right? I was trying to see like, oh, maybe oil and gas stocks are going up today, so maybe that's why the whole market's down. No, oil and gas stocks all down across the board here today. And oil and gas stocks have been in kind of a tough place from those highs that reached back in June, essentially. Ever since then, it's kind of been down for a lot of these guys. If you pull up an overall heat map of the stock market, I mean, you can just see it. It's a lot of red out there. There's a few green, but there's not much here today. Utilities looking a little green here today, and maybe a few, consumer defensives are green. Just about everything else out there is red. It's Red Dead Redemption in the stock market here today, okay? Nonetheless. Now, it's interesting because there's this company out there that is all of a sudden everybody's like, we got to pay attention to this particular company, and this one can take down the whole stock market. And I'm like, what? And this company's name is Snapchat, okay? Snapchat. Yes, the sixth most popular, let's just call it social media that people use, if we want to call it social media, because all these things are different. Some of them you can message in. Some of them are more for entertainment. It is what it is, okay? Snapchat's the sixth most popular with over 500 million monthly active users. It looks like a small little nothing compared to some of these other big guys out there, right? But nonetheless, Snapchat, everybody all of a sudden wants to pay attention to this. The stock's getting absolutely obliterated here today, right? It's down 38.8%, Snapchat is here today. 38.8%, $16 billion market cap. And this is a stock we're all supposed to pay attention to, and like, oh my gosh, did you see what Snapchat reported? Their earnings weren't good, their guidance wasn't good. Sell off your stocks. You better sell off your Meta. You better sell off Google. You better sell off Apple. You better sell off everything. What? Because Snapchat wasn't quite there? A $16 billion market cap, a company that I don't even know if they'll do $5 billion of revenue this year, right? This is all of a sudden the stock that matters in the stock market. Come on, man. Give me a break. You got to be flipping my flapjacks. You want to talk about full-scale distraction mode. Oh, boy. This is our stock? This is the one we're supposed to pay attention to? And the market, this is the market mover? Come on, man, okay? And here we are. And that's a moment in time that literally this stock tanked just about everything, at least in the NASDAQ and the markets in general, right? Pull up similar to Snap. Look at Meta here today, right? Look at Pins here today. Look at Google McDougal. It's amazing. It's amazing that also Wall Street wants us to pay attention to Snapchat. Snapchat? Are you kidding me? This is our fearless hero, the Snapchat, okay? Oh gosh. All right. So then there's a company. This one's named American Express. This company is over $100 billion market cap. This company is set to do 10x, if not much more than 10x, the revenues of that last company. This is a company that actually matters for the state of the stock market, the state of the economy. If you want to know, essentially, how the economy is doing, pay attention to a company like American Express. And I'm going to share a whole list of companies that you should pay attention to in this video. But if you want to know what's going on in the actual economy, pay attention to what their numbers are, pay attention to what their guidance is, pay attention to if they have people going past 30 days past due, situations like that. you're going to get a lot of good information. And if you're worried about the economy, anything like that, it's a very valuable company to pay attention to whatever they're doing, okay? This is one that actually should matter. And guess what? Guess what? This company, they reported earnings this morning, just a few hours ago. Just a few hours ago. Stock's not really doing much. It's only up 2% or so. But what happened? What happened in those earnings? Okay, we're going to go through it. By the way, $50 billion this company's supposed to do in revenue this year. That's supposed to be up about 20% year over year. That's about a 10x of Snapchat roughly, okay? Here's what's going on with American Express. Well, total revenues were up 31% year over year, okay? 31%. And if you adjust for FX, we're talking about 33% up year over year. So top line revenue for American Express is booming. Business is booming for American Express. Bottom line, okay? But we want to look a little deeper. We also want to know about like how many customers are going past 30 days, past due and not paying a bill or something like that, right? Those are valuable things for us to know. But the fact is, at least this past quarter, business is booming for American Express. If we look at total network volumes, came in at $395 billion. So basically, this company is going to be running numbers of $1 trillion, well over $1 trillion plus in payment volume. So we're talking about, well over $1 trillion of volume going through on American Express. This is why this company matters so much to the overall economy. And if you want to understand where the state of the economy is at, look at American Express numbers, because this matters in a meaningful way when you're talking about $1 trillion plus of payment volume, okay? Massive numbers, right? So right here's a magical number we want to look at. 30 plus days past due. Okay, this is very important because, if you're talking about, going into recession, bad economy, that number's going to skyrocket, right? Well, right now we're at 0.8%. 0.8%. Last quarter, that was at 0.8%. The previous quarter was 0.6%. The previous quarter was 0.5%. So it's a little trending up. But let's also remember in these quarters, there was a lot of stimulus money pumped out there. So you kind of had a lot of people flush with some cash that they usually didn't have, right? That is something to keep in mind there. But nothing crazy is happening there as far as, people going way past due and, oh my gosh, we're going to have write-offs and all those sorts of things. This matters in a meaningful way to the economy and to understand like recession or not recession, things like that. You got to pay attention to these sorts of numbers because we can all have our opinions. We can have our opinion on this. I can have my opinion on this, and I think we're this and that and that and that, right? We all have our opinions. Cool. But damn it, our opinions only go so far. Sometimes you got to look at the actual numbers. You got to look at the concrete data. And you got to look at that data and say, here's what we actually see are going on. Because as I say, men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. The numbers are right there. They're going to give it to us. And so, this is very, very important for everybody to see this, exactly what's going on here, right? Now, what does the American Express CEO have to say, right? He says, quote, "We're acquiring spending and we see future travel bookings strong. So I don't see it, a recession, in my numbers at all. It's really hard for me to get my head around that in a quarter 3 or quarter 4, we're going to have a big slowdown," the CEO said. "But if we learned anything during the Rona, you kind of have to go day by day, month by month. So as I sit here today, I do not see a recession." Okay? By the way, as far as what they almost beat analyst estimates on net sales by almost $1 billion, and they also beat on diluted EPS as well. So there we have the CEO of one of the most important companies in the world, saying, this is a company that does, $1 trillion plus of payment volume through their cards. Here he is saying, I don't see the recession. Like, I look at the numbers, I look at the spending, I look at, people that aren't paying or something like that. Nothing's lining up to recession as of right now. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get a recession. But just like when he looks at the numbers, he has to judge looking at the numbers that he sees on a day-to-day basis. And he sees the numbers today. He saw the numbers yesterday. He saw the numbers the previous day. He saw the numbers the previous week. He saw all the numbers the previous quarter. He's seen the numbers for years and years of this company, right? And so we're talking about an individual that's basically saying he doesn't see it, okay? Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Doesn't mean a recession is not going to happen. It's just this man does not see it based upon the numbers, not based upon a gut feel, based upon numbers, okay? So this is very, very important. Now, if you want to know some actual important companies to pay attention to out there, here's a list of companies, and here's why these companies are very important. If you want to know if we're going to go into recession, if the recession's here, things like that, pay attention to these companies' earnings, pay attention to any guidance these companies give, if they give any guidance, and things like that, okay? First one up is Apple. Apple is such a massive company nowadays. Obviously it's the biggest market cap company out there, but when it comes to Apple, it's a very important company to pay attention to because we're talking about half of Americans use iPhone, right? And so you're talking about a product that is a need, but it's also kind of a want, right? It's not, a lot of people, when it comes to their iPhones, they might let things go a few years. If they're, not feeling like spending that much, they're kind of like, I'll keep my current iPhone. Now, there's always going to be a certain amount of people that have to get a new iPhone, right? Which is the biggest component of Apple's business because let's say their old iPhone breaks or the battery dies or whatever, right? Well, then they have to get a new iPhone. But there's the huge segment of Apple's actual business model now is built up on people that want to upgrade every single year or every other year. They want to get the newest iPhone with the newest cameras and the newest, fastest chips and things like that, okay? So Apple's a very important company. Also, because they're App Store now and because that's become such a massive business now, it's also going to let you know like how much money people are spending on apps, right? And in that whole app ecosystem economy, very, very important to pay attention to that, right? Also, you can also pay attention to PC sales. Remember, if a lot of companies are not wanting to spend, they're not going to buy their whole workforce a bunch of new Macs and MacBooks and MacBook Airs and all those sorts of things, okay? Google and Meta, extremely important companies to always have on your watch list and always pay attention to what their earnings are. I mean, you're talking about Google owns Android. Obviously, they own Google Search. They own YouTube, plus a bunch more. Very important company to pay attention to understand the state of the economy, right? Meta, we're talking about they own Facebook. They own, obviously, Instagram. They own WhatsApp. I mean, it's an insane company. And I showed you the monthly, I don't remember what slide that was, the monthly active users numbers, right? I mean, look at this. Monthly active users, Facebook, 2.9 billion, right? They own that. WhatsApp, 2 billion. Instagram, 2 billion. So you're talking about Facebook gets just a huge understanding of where the consumer's at. Advertising spend, right? Because if you're going to spend for advertising for a small, mid, or large business, you're going to Meta first. That's where you're going first. Then you're probably going to Google Search, YouTube, things like that, right? Amex and Visa, the third. You got to pay attention to American Express and Visa numbers. These are the companies that are processing, trillions of dollars of transactions in a given year. Trillions of dollars. So it's vital that if you want to know where the state of the economy is, you pay attention to companies like that numbers because you're going to get to see, oh man, people aren't, running their cards quite as much. This is just very important. Like back in the day when everybody used cash for transactions, you didn't really get that good of information when it came to that because everybody's using cash. It's not really registering. But now the fact is, most people use debit cards or credit cards to go buy gas at the gas station or go buy, food at McDonald's or wherever, right? Or go to the restaurant or go to the movies. Everybody uses debit cards and credit cards nowadays. That's the environment we're in, right? And so American Express and Visa are vital companies. Now, next one up here, Toll Brothers, Lennar, Pulte, KB Homes, those sorts of companies. Those are very important to always have on your watch list and pay attention to the earnings. We got to admit it, the real estate industry is one of the most meaningful things to the U.S. economy in terms of the amount of jobs it produces, in terms of the state of consumers, in terms of the state of, are people feeling confident to go buy a new home? Where's the economy at for a big purchase like that? That's usually everybody's biggest purchase in life is a home. So those companies are very vital. Now we know those companies are numbers that have weakened considerably. So we know based upon not our opinion, we know based upon facts, based upon numbers, that the housing market is getting into a worse and worse position pretty much quarter by quarter right now. It's not an opinion, that's facts. That's numbers, okay? And so that's just, you've got to always pay attention to these sorts of companies so you can understand where the state of the real estate market is, okay? UPS, FedEx. I mean, gosh, if you're going to, send a product just about anywhere nowadays, like it's probably going on UPS or FedEx at some point in time in its journey. So if you want to know about the state of product moving around the United States and worldwide, because these companies do business international as well, pay attention to UPS, pay attention to FedEx. You're going to get a good understanding. Micron. This is a very underrated stock for paying attention to the state of the economy. And when it comes to Micron, remember, this is one of the biggest memory chip plays in the world, okay? So, this iPhone right here, or, whatever device you're watching this on right now, it probably has Micron chips in it for memory. Or if it doesn't have Micron, it has one of their competitors, SK Hynix, or it could have Samsung as a competitor to them, right? But it's got memory chips in it. So if you want to know about the state of consumer electronics, right, which is obviously very important, like if people are out there buying stuff, that's usually bullish for the economy. If they're not, that's usually something, okay, there's something going on out there, right? So always pay attention to Micron numbers. Micron in the last quarter, they had weak guidance. So that was something to pay attention to there, right? That's kind of a negative for the overall economy. So always pay attention to Micron, very, very important. Union Pacific, CSX, these are railroad companies. Hey, you want to transport product around the United States? Usually actually the cheapest way to do it is through rail and not through truck. So you always got to have these guys on your list. Always pay attention to what's going on with their earnings. You're going to understand what's going on in the economy. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. In my opinion, those are the two most well-run banks out there, right? Obviously, JP Morgan's a little more on the commercial and business side. Goldman Sachs a little bit more on the investment side. But to be quite honest, these are companies are starting to compete just across the board. And when it comes to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they're going to let you know about the state of the economy, right? Based upon numbers, not based upon feelings, based upon numbers. Here's what the numbers are. Here's what the numbers are showing. This is our opinion based upon those numbers, right? So these are very, very important companies to all pay attention to there. This is the most important companies, in my opinion, that you can possibly add to your watch list. Pay attention to their earnings, pay attention to their guidance, and you're going to get a very good understanding of the state of the economy based upon those companies. Snapchat and Twitter and all these other companies, come on, man. They're not going to give us the real understanding of what's going on out there. These companies, they will. And if it's bad, their numbers are going to show it, and their guidance will show it. And if things are good, their numbers are going to show it, and their guidance will show it. Just bottom line when it comes to that. And so keep this in mind. Now, moving forward, very important. We're in a situation here where all these companies you see right here, almost all of them are reporting their earnings over the next 3 weeks, all right? So a few of these have already reported. Remember, American Express reported, Tesla reported. A few of these have already reported, but most of these have not. Almost all these companies are going to be reporting their earnings over the next 3 weeks. And so get ready to rock and roll. And wherever the stock market's going to trend over the next 2 to 3 months is going to really be based upon where these companies' earnings are at, okay? The only other big thing we got going on over the next few months, other than obviously these earnings over the next few weeks, is inflation numbers. That's what everybody, all people care about right now in the stock market is two things: earnings over the next few weeks and where the inflation numbers come in for the month of July and where the inflation numbers come in for the month of August. That's it. That's all that really matters in the stock market right now. And the rest is a straight up distraction play for this market, okay? Hope you guys enjoyed this as always. Hope you got some good value out of it. Also, just so you know, given the market we're in right now, I actually made 2 courses absolutely free. Right now, one's a little more of a beginner course and one's a little more of an advanced course in that particular course. So if you want to book a 15-minute call with somebody from my team, they'll get you enrolled into that. They'll just ask you a few questions, get you enrolled into whatever course is the right one for you. It's absolutely free. You don't have to join my private stock group to get access to that, and that will be pinned comment down there. Much love as always, and have a great day.